You feel it, don't you? The eyes that never stop watching. The stares that linger too long. The silent whispers behind your back. They're watching you, not with admiration, but with obsession. Why? Because you're the CHOZN1, and they know it, even if you don't. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why their obsession with you is only growing. From the very beginning, you were never just another face in the crowd. There's something about you that makes people pause, look again, and wonder. It's not always about beauty or charisma. It's deeper, it's spiritual. You walk into a room, and people notice. Their conversations shift. Their attention shifts. The air becomes different. Your presence alters the atmosphere without effort. You've been watched your whole life. In school, there were always eyes on you, not just for how you performed, but for who you were. You could feel it. People watching, listening, copying. Even the ones who didn't like you kept you in their mind. You live rent-free in hearts you never even tried to enter. That's because chosen ones don't follow the world. They're marked by something otherworldly. People feel your vibration before you speak. You may not even say much, but you still command attention. You walk with grace, pain, power, mystery, all wrapped into one soul. And that drives people crazy. They want to understand you. They want to break you down, but they can't. You weren't made to be understood. You were made to be revealed by God in His timing. Their obsession comes from the feeling that you know something they don't, that you're tapped into a deeper wisdom, a higher realm, that you're moving with purpose while they're still stuck in cycles. So instead of asking for guidance, they watch, quietly, consistently, obsessively. People don't obsess over the ordinary. They obsess over what they can't explain. You've noticed it. They imitate the way you speak, the things you wear, even your attitude. You didn't try to be a leader, but still you lead. You didn't chase influence, but still you influence. You didn't beg for attention, but still attention follows you everywhere. That's the anointing. You're not just seen, you're studied. They replay your words in their mind. They analyze your silence. They want to know your secrets, your habits, your next move. Some want to be close to you just to siphon your energy. Others want to bring you down because they can't understand why you still rise. The obsession is spiritual. Your light disturbs their darkness. Your purity reveals their games. Your peace exposes their chaos. And instead of healing, many choose watching. They sit on the sidelines of your life like spectators at a divine movie, unable to look away. They talk about you, not because you're flawed, but because they're fascinated. They disguise their envy with sarcasm, their obsession with fake compliments. They monitor you without support, cheer for you only when you're not a threat. But chosen one, make no mistake, their eyes are always on you. Even your silence is loud. Even your rest is powerful. When you disappear, they worry. When you rise again, they're obsessed. They want to see how far you'll go. They want to know if they can predict your next breakthrough. They try to mimic your journey, but it doesn't work for them. Because they don't have your spiritual GPS. They don't have your divine protection. They don't have your inner covenant with God. Sometimes you ask yourself, why me? Why do they watch me so closely? Why do I feel like I'm under a microscope, even when I'm minding my business? But you already know the answer. You're carrying something sacred. You're not ordinary. You're chosen. You've felt it since childhood. The separation, the misunderstandings, the jealousy in friendships, the fake love that felt off. It wasn't your imagination. You were set apart, not rejected. You were misunderstood, not broken. You were isolated, not abandoned. That was God hiding you in plain sight. Now they can't take their eyes off you. They want your peace, but don't want your path. They want your confidence, but not your process. They want your glow, but not your grind. And that's why they're obsessed. Because deep down, they know they couldn't carry what you've carried, and still stand tall like you do. They remember your losses, your pain, your delays. But now they're confused. How did you make it through that? How did you survive what was meant to destroy you? How did you become even stronger? They stare, not out of love, but out of curiosity. The kind that borders on obsession, because you're walking proof that the impossible is possible. That favor is real. That God chooses unlikely people and puts them in undeniable positions. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be used. Your story is being written in front of those who once laughed. And now they can't look away. They stalk your page, revisit your posts, keep tabs on your updates, just to get a glimpse of what's next. Not because they support you, but because they're terrified that you really are who you say you are. They fear your fullness, that you might fully step into your power, that you might finally embrace your voice, that you might stop playing small for their comfort. Because if you ever fully awaken, they know your presence alone would be too much to handle. And that's exactly where you're headed, into your full self, your full light, your full destiny. And whether they support you or not, one thing is guaranteed: they'll still be watching, closely, secretly, obsessively. Because the chosen one always becomes the focal point. Whether people love you or fear you, they can't ignore you. They can't ignore you because your life keeps speaking even when your mouth is shut. You're the living proof of what happens when God marks someone, and no human can unmark them. It's unsettling for them to watch someone they tried to count out become the one they can't stop counting on. And even when you distance yourself, they follow. Not physically always, but mentally, emotionally, energetically. Their thoughts orbit around your existence like satellites around a planet. You became their favorite subject without auditioning for the role. You're not in competition, but you're always the comparison. Every time you post, every time you succeed, every time you remain unbothered, it shakes something inside of them. Because you are a mirror, chosen one. Your authenticity exposes their imitation. Your healing highlights their denial. Your power reminds them that they could have evolved too, but chose comfort instead. And so, they obsess. They build entire opinions about your life from a distance. They analyze your wins, but never acknowledge your wounds. They try to make sense of how you keep moving without their approval. It eats at them. The fact that they don't have control over your direction. You're not attached to their applause. You're not motivated by their validation. That's terrifying to people who survive on attention. You became their hidden obsession because you broke the rules they still live by. You refused to shrink, to beg, to conform. You chose your peace over popularity. You chose growth over gossip. You chose solitude over fake circles. And now they sit in silence, watching your every move, wondering how someone who should have failed is now walking in undeniable favor. Some watch you hoping you'll fall, but even your struggles look blessed. Even your delays are protected. Even your no's are divine redirections. And when life hits you hard, you don't break, you bloom. That's what they don't understand. That's why they keep watching. They want to see if you'll ever lose what you didn't gain through them. But chosen one, they didn't give it to you. God did, and that's why they can't take it. They try to distract themselves with shallow pleasures, but somehow, they always return to you, watching, wondering, replaying your journey in their minds like a movie they wish they starred in. They want your strength, but not your scars. Your wisdom, but not your wilderness. Your elevation, but not your isolation. You paid a price they never saw. While they were sleeping, you were healing. While they were mocking, you were evolving. While they were watching, you were transforming. And now, they're obsessed because you've become undeniable. Their obsession is proof that your presence carries weight. Your very existence disrupts the spiritual frequency around you. You don't even try, and still the room shifts. You simply are, and that's too loud for people who haven't found themselves yet. That's why they copy you and still feel empty. They try to replicate your essence, but it doesn't work. Because what you have isn't aesthetic, it's anointing. You didn't build your aura. Heaven assigned it to you. They wear your colors. They adopt your mindset. They echo your words. But there's no power in imitation. The true glow comes from within, from pain that turned into power, from trials that turned into truth. You walk with wisdom that was earned, not borrowed. So when people obsess over you, don't shrink. Don't second-guess your shine. Recognize it for what it is, spiritual surveillance. You are a threat to the status quo, a disruption to the deceived, a reminder of what's real. You don't owe them your energy. You don't have to explain your peace. You don't need to justify your success. The fact that they're watching is confirmation enough. You've stepped into something sacred, something sovereign, and the world is taking notice.